Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a somewhat talking head, somewhat gameplay version of Talking with a Dad. Welcome back. Today is the Valorant discussion. What do you think, Steve? You got to play it all day. You've been here playing it for 8-10 hours now. Steve texted me earlier. Was just loving it.
I was not playing. I am a parent and a husband, and those things came first. Also, I did not get into the closed beta. But Zach did.
I have some misinformation here then. Yeah, so I've been playing quite a bit. Played a few hours worth today.
I was working on my assignment.
It is a lot of fun. You guys are going to see some footage in the background that I had recorded throughout the day.
Right.
It's not a great gameplay from me. I have a few good moments in here. I think I have a 4-kill round somewhere in the middle of the game. Went to overtime. We won the game ultimately in the end, so that's pretty cool. But all right, Steve, let's start off. You have some questions before I get into my seemingly 6 to 7 hour rant that I could have here.
All right, well, and I'm fine with that, man. Question number one.
Sure.
So we're gonna have a little practice and redundancy here, but I'm gonna see if I can draw some more out of you. How much fun did you have playing the game on a scale of 1 to 10? 1 being I will never play this game ever again or talk about it, or 10 being I will play it in my spare time as often as I'm able.
7.
7.
I had a 7. Yeah. So
okay.
Not much is gonna get past a 7 for me at this point. I don't think.
Okay.
I thought it was really good. I think it's polished. I think that the gameplay feels really smooth. They're using 128 tick rate servers, so the servers are really, really smooth. And that was an enjoyable experience. I had fun today. And I'm learning the game. I tend to have more fun while learning games than I do later on, if that makes sense. Yeah, ultimately, I usually have more fun learning and then playing for the first month or two than I do 2.5 years in.
Okay.
But yeah, for overall first impressions, maybe 2.5, maybe 3 hours played today. I thought the game felt really good, and I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's interesting because you've been gaming for a long time, and I figured you'd be hovering around somewhere around the 7 mark. Now, there's a certain level of apathy or someone becoming desensitized to games. At any point, did you feel like it was just lagging, or you're like, oh, this is nothing new? Or was there anything that really stood out to you that like, oh, wow, that was a nice new addition to the FPS genre?
Yeah, the way that they do abilities. You have to buy your abilities. There's a buy menu. You guys obviously will see that. The way that the spawn system works when you spawn in initially, right? So it's 5v5, single elimination, first to 13 rounds. So it's very Counter-Strike in the way that the scoring works.
Okay.
But there's abilities in it akin to Overwatch. Most of them are really just used for zoning. I think I've seen one person. Okay, so that's a lie. I'm thinking about it now. Other than an ultimate ability, which I've killed multiple people with today, the regular abilities that you have usually aren't there for the kill. Maybe a finish, maybe just to use a little bit of sustained damage over time, but they're not generally going to kill you, right? You could walk through the poison or the fire or whatever, and you're not going to die. They're used for zoning, and I like that a lot. So I could smoke off an area of the map, or I could use a poison wall across an area of the map, and people aren't going to go through that because there's an unknown on the other side, right? So a lot of the abilities are generally used for zoning. So I appreciate that a lot. I think that's a really good addition. It's like a smoke in Counter-Strike in the same vein.
Okay. Anything that you felt was redundant or derivative of like FPSs, and you're like, why did they include this? I know there's always a general medium, but was there anything you were like, man, I was hoping this type of stuff wasn't going to make it into the game?
I mean, there's always a level of randomness in every first-person shooter and every shooter in general. I think there's a level of randomness, and that's there to some extent. It feels like the recoil patterns. I don't know if they take too long to reset or what it is, but I could be shooting at someone and it seems like the recoil pattern is different than the one that I had just done to get a kill. So that level of randomness that's there, that's a little bit annoying, and I wish that hadn't been there. It was a little bit more consistent, but I don't think it can be.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess that's all my questions. I mean, you had fun. It was at a 7. That's pretty high for you, considering the last 3 games that you've played you did not like. You spend more time playing games that you aren't FPSs nowadays. I guess there's maybe one last question. Did you slay today? I know you said we're not. Yeah. Give me your overall score of your gameplay.
No, I probably played under what I generally play because I'm learning the game. I did have one game where I got 30 kills. 30 frags is actually higher from what I've seen today. I've seen people with 20, 25, something like that. That's kind of almost normal in a game, but I hit 32, I think, in a game, which is, I feel like, a significant amount. But no, I think I was playing pretty average. I think I was hovering right around middle of the pack in teams today, if not usually second. But there was 2 games that I was far and large first. But you know, if I was doing my own gaming channel, the video that's going up, the gameplay that's going up with this, would have not been an upload on my in my heyday. So it's a good gameplay. It's I tried to do everything I could in the game to showcase it. I showed the barriers off the spawn. I showed the buy menu quite a bit. I showed all the different abilities, picking up ult points, getting an ult, using an ult, all of the above. But this generally wouldn't have been a, hey, look at this, come look at this dog and pony show gameplay, right? This is a very run-of-the-mill gameplay that I had. Okay, all right. Well, take it away. Let's get your official review on this one, Zach. So 2.5 hours in, I feel like the game is very smooth, which I could appreciate coming from. I think Counter-Strike can be choppy. I think Call of Duty has a very smooth experience. I think many games can be very choppy in their experience, whether it's lag, whether it's really low tick servers, but this is using 128 tick servers. That's really, really nice. It's really smooth. So for those of you who don't know out there, that's essentially the servers are running at 128 frames per second, right? Where generally a Call of Duty server runs at 60, right? So we're running at double. I believe a Counter-Strike server runs at like 24. So we're at a plus 100 on that. So the servers are super smooth. They seem to be consistent after the server issues this morning. Got in, I was able to play, and I didn't have any issues throughout the entire day getting back into the game. Apparently the servers are down right now. We're recording this about 7:30, but I haven't tried to get back in. Maybe in a few hours once I'm done and this video is uploaded. But so server side, everything was okay other than the little hiccup this morning and potentially right now. The guns feel actually really good. I heard some people complaining about the audio, that they don't think the guns sound good enough, and I thought the guns sounded appropriate for the setting of the game. I think the guns are fun to use. They're easy to learn. That they have, there is a skill gap, right? There's always a nice thing to have a skill gap in a game. This game is going to lend itself really well to a competitive scene and a ranked system inside of the game. Although it's a Riot game, so it'll have that, no doubt. So I liked the guns a lot. I think the movement's really good. The movement, if you've played a lot of Counter-Strike, you will immediately understand how your character moves. Same speed, essentially, same crouch walk, same slow walk. There is no sprint. Same air mechanics. So when you jump in Counter-Strike, you can move your cursor to the left and hold A, and your character will round that direction, or air strafe, right? This game has that exact same mechanic. It feels almost identical, actually. There's a skill gap to where there is B hopping in the game, but it's actually kind of hard to learn at first. It's very easy once you do understand the timing of it. I think the maps are really good. I actually like the maps. There's 2 different styles of maps. There's only 3 maps that are in beta right now. There's 2 different styles of maps, though. There's one that has an A and B site, and there's or 2 that have an A and B, and 1 map that has a A, B, and C site. So essentially, it's attack and defend. One person's going to try to plant. 5-on-5 is really hard to do 3 points, but I like the nature of having to get a pick for your team to be up. So if it's 1-on-1 on C and I kill the guy on C, now I'm able to either flank them or rotate back and help at another point, since I've cleared that point. So that's really nice. I actually like the gameplay there. It'll lend itself really well to people who could play in a 5-man team. The communication in this game is going to be super key. But it's really hard playing with randoms right now, really to get any sort of meta down or momentum moving. Like, yeah, I think the game overall is going to be really good. It'll be huge in the competitive scene. I could see that already. The different classes and the way that they work and the way they mesh together and the way that the different spells and abilities and such work together, it's going to be huge in the competitive scene.
Two totally different games, but to kind of cap it off here, is it the nail in the coffin of the dreaded Fortnite, or what do you think?
Different? No, they're different genres. They're not even the same genre.
That's literally what I just said.
No,
totally different.
Yeah,
two totally different games. What I'm saying in regards.
This is comparing a comedy to a drama, right? They're different genres. It doesn't. No, this game isn't a battle royale. It's not going to touch the Fortnite base. It's only on PC. No, Fortnite's not going to see any effect for this.
You don't think so? Even with all the pros jumping off of there and saying they're only playing this?
No Fortnite pro is going to switch and be a Valorant pro. You'll see that coming from Counter-Strike. There will be people from Counter-Strike switch to Valorant, right? There will not be people who are Fortnite pros switching to Valorant. It's a different game. It's a different play style. It's different mechanics. No, they're not even in the same conversation.
All right. I'm going to send you a list of some pros that say they're only going to play this from now on. But you enjoyed it.
I did.
So what, is it free to play or what?
I think so. I'm not a developer. I'm not on the board at Riot. Although Riot, if you want to give me a call, I have some ideas on how we can make things work. So yeah, you hit me up with a call. I'll be on a plane once this whole pandemic is over. You let me know.
There's still some in the air. You can get a pretty cheap flight right now.
I know. I was thinking about it. Just keep postponing it and finally settle on a date. So that's it. Any more Valorant questions? If you guys have questions down below, any questions for the people who are watching, please leave comments down below. I'll be monitoring that for the next few days, giving answers and stuff and giving my opinion. Steve, any following questions?
I think Phoenix is on.
How do you get your hair to look so magnificent in the morning?
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. There's a small team that goes into this.
No, that about does it for me, man. Anything else you want to tell the folks before we head out?
Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll catch you next time.